Hey everyone, did you know so many Middle Eastern countries today are revamping and remodeling their infrastructure? They're building new museums, public parks, and transportation hubs. So, join me for today's video. We're going to count down the 15 largest mega projects in the Middle East. Let's begin. Number 15. Mirror Line Skyscraper Project. In Saudi Arabia's most recently proposed mega project, it promised to be one of the most ambitious ever. The Middle Eastern kingdom is gearing up to construct one of the world's largest structures in the desert city of Neom. The structure is expected to span 100 miles in width and will go up to 1,600 feet high. This skyscraper project named Mirror Line is likely to cost an out-of-this-world $1 trillion. It will be part of a Neom, which is a hyper-futuristic city envisioned by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This skyscraper will begin from the Gulf of Aqaba and bisect a mountain range that extends alongside the coastline. From there, it'll go on through a mountain resort and a complex that will be home to the Saudi Arabian government. The Mirror Line will pass via an aerotropolis in Saudi Arabia's desert. This thing is sure to attract viewers from far and wide with its unique features and Star Trek-esque appearance. Its 8-sided buildings will contain a mountain resort and a suspended sports complex. Besides this, there will be a marina to dock yachts and vertical farming integrated into the building that can feed 5 million people. The Mirror Line will be designed by US-based Morphosis architects, but so far 9 other design and engineering consultants, including Canada-based WSP Global and New York's Thornton Tomasetti, have also stated they'll be a part of it. A high-speed rail will run underneath the buildings, connecting every aspect of the city while giving it its own pulse. While Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman estimates the project will be completed by 2030, some engineers believe it could take about half a century to be finished. I guess only time will tell. Number 14. Northfield Expansion Project. While it's not as glamorous as something like a mirrored city, a major liquefied natural gas facility can make any world nation all the more powerful. And that's exactly what Qatar aims to do. The Northfield Expansion Project will increase the size of the world's biggest single non-associated natural gas field, offshore of the northeast Qatar Peninsula. Better known as the NFE, the project's expected to increase Qatar's liquefied natural gas or LNG production capacity by 43% from 77 million tons per year to 110. Qatar Energy announced that the expansion of the gas field in April 2017 after revoking its 12-year self-imposed ban on field development. A moratorium was imposed to evaluate the impact of the growing output from the reservoir in 2005. The first gas from this $28 billion project is expected to be produced by 2025, with total production expected to be 1.4 million barrels of oil equivalent a day. The project is in line with Qatar's National Vision 2030, which aims for more sustainable development by 2030, while helping to create an exponential economic boom for the country. Number 13. The World Islands. Dubai's World Islands may sound like a fun idea, but if you take a moment to sit and really think about it, it's kind of lame and pointless. Composed of 300 man-made islands, one for each country, they're made to look like a map of the world. Construction began in 2003 and came to a grinding halt in 2008 after the financial crisis. And with 60% of the construction being done by private contractors, this project, while ambitious, was probably doomed from the start. And by 2021, only 9 of the 300 islands were ready for visitors and commercial use. They also require the sand to be moved to the area and require the volume equivalent of 150 pro baseball stadiums to make. But erosion and weather have made quick work of what was already put in place. The islands don't have their own source of electricity either, and the project to run cable under the Gulf was a bust. But the construction of these fake islands just decimates the local environment, destroying coral reefs and burying oyster beds, therefore killing off local marine life at an alarming rate. The entire thing cost $14 billion in a city with a poverty rate of 20%. It's a little bit of a miscalculation, I think. Number 12. Guggenheim Abu Dhabi. Designed by legendary architect Frank Gehry, the Guggenheim Museum in Abu Dhabi will open in 2025. It's located in the heart of the Saadiyat Cultural District. This museum is a collaboration between the Department of Culture and Tourism, Abu Dhabi, and the Solomon R. Guggenheim Foundation. The 45,000 square foot building will become the largest of the 4 Guggenheim museums globally, and just like its sister locations, the design of the building is a unique exploration and experiment in inventive 21st century museum design, comprised of a cluster of galleries of varying heights, shapes, and characters. The final building will also contain a center for art and technology, a children's educational facility, archives, a library, and a conservation laboratory. And it's expected to focus on modern and contemporary art from West Asia, North Africa, and South Asia. And while the works inside the new Guggenheim will be impressive, the building's exterior will be a work of art in its own right, flanked on 3 sides by the gorgeous Persian Gulf. This site also acts as a man-made breakwater that protects the island's northern beaches, allowing the museum itself to be part of the natural scenery. Every minute detail of this space is international, and when it finally opens, there's no doubt it'll become one of the most famous cultural institutions in the Middle East, and maybe even the world. Number 11. Jubail Industrial City. Saudi Arabia is another oil-rich company that's always looking not just to expand, but prove itself on the world stage. So the Jubail Industrial City is another megaproject with the hope of thrusting the country into the future. This industrial city is a ground-up project that began in the 1970s and so far has cost $11 billion. This entire megaproject's been broken up into 4 different phases, which involve updating the city's industrial plants, their petrochemical industry, support industries, and smelting plants across 8 square miles. But in order to do this, the city needs to remove hills, build new underground tunnels, expand its fiber optics, build new highways, and create an underwater seaway for daily cooling. Considering Jubail went from being a small fishing village to now the largest civil engineering project in the world, there's no denying that the update is one of the most amazing megaprojects the world's ever seen. Number 10. Hamad International Airport. Qatar's Hamad International Airport is already impressive in its own right. It has 2 long runways, 13,944 feet and 15,912 feet long. And in 2021 alone saw 169,000 aircraft movements and a stunning 17,700,000 passenger movements. But the country has bigger plans for the already huge airport, and an expansion's been in the works for nearly a decade. There are plans to expand the terminal in order to accommodate the increased passenger numbers for everyone coming to watch the 2022 World Cup and to keep up with Qatar Airways' continued passenger growth, seeing as how over 17 million people passed through the doors in 2021. A new central building located between the existing concourses D and E will feature a 110,000 square foot tropical garden with an 879-foot tall water feature, similar to that found at Singapore Changi's Airport Jewel Complex. The project will also add another 126,000 square feet of retail and F&B space, and it's got an expanded transfer area. A fancy new Qatar Airways business class lounge will be built at the mezzanine level and covers 97,000 square feet. It'll be the largest airport lounge in the world. In addition, concourses D and E will be lengthened to accommodate 9 additional wide-body aircraft stands. Hamad International is a major traveling hub, even if it just means for connecting flights, and the country is clearly gearing up for even more travel to the already popular destination. Number 9. Qiddiya. The development of Qiddiya, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's multi-billion-dollar entertainment resort 26 miles southwest of downtown Riyadh, is driven in part by the Qiddiya Investment Company. Like so many others, this expensive and large megaproject is part of the kingdom's Vision 2030 economic diversification plan, with the strategy to attract international investment and expand the economy in ways much of the world hasn't seen. Currently, the Saudi economy relies heavily on hydrocarbons. However, Qiddiya will help diversify by investing in a wide range of portfolio of experiences, programs, facilities, and business sectors outside of petrochemicals. So what exactly does that entail? Well, if all goes according to plan, Qiddiya will have 300 groundbreaking recreational and educational facilities, including high-end theme parks, water and snow-based activities, sports arenas built to host international and world-class competitions and events, desert and asphalt tracks, outdoor and adventure activities, and historical, cultural, and educational activities. I guess they aim to create record-breaking attractions, including the fastest, longest, and tallest roller coaster, too. Could a place like Qiddiya put the likes of Disney World out of business? It's not likely, but it could become its own luxury Disney World of sorts in the Middle East. So far, all signs, dollar signs that is, point to yes. Number 8. Abu Dhabi International Airport. Qatar is not the only Middle Eastern country home to an epic international airport. The capital city of Abu Dhabi has its own international hub spanning 8,500 acres. The Abu Dhabi International Airport saw over 5.2 million travelers in 2021 alone, but it's looking to have even more thanks to the expansion that's been in the works for quite some time. So far, the Abu Dhabi International Airport expansion is a $6.8 billion project. Upon completion, the new terminal will increase the airport's capacity by up to 45 million passengers a year, more than doubling the existing capacity. The complex will expand to more than 58 gates to cope with anticipated growth and includes the construction of 27,000 square feet of retail and food and beverage areas, covered parking, a transit hotel inside the terminal complex too. According to a 2020 report, many of the project sponsors have delayed making important decisions or chosen unreasonable or unfeasible models for the airport, which has only pushed the airport's completion even further. But such are the usual problems with infrastructure and private firms. But when all is eventually said and done, the expansion will include a third 13,000-foot parallel runway, 6,500 feet from the existing runways, and plus a new 360-foot tower between the two runways with the new air traffic control center, enhanced cargo and maintenance facilities, and other commercial developments on the land immediately adjacent to and north of the airport. Having a total of about 13 square miles of vast land area, the ambitious megaproject will have a home base for the UAE's national carrier Etihad Airways, which will be a major user of the new cargo facilities with an ultimate handling capacity of around 2 million tons of freight a year. Close to the new cargo facilities, land has also been allocated for some commercial activities, business parks, and property developments, with aircraft maintenance facilities still concentrated on the south side of the existing airport. The expansion plan sets aside land for the growth of other operators such as Royal Jet and Abu Dhabi Aviation. Among other aspects of the project are the design of remote aircraft stands complete with airfield ground lighting and hydrant fuel. The airport expansion is set to be finished by 2023. Number 7. Yas Bay. A $3.2 billion megaproject to the south of Abu Dhabi's Yas Island, Yas Bay will one day be home to about 15,000 people. And when it's all said and done, residents and visitors can enjoy 19 parks, retail space, leisure and entertainment zones, a waterfront, and a pier with 37 food and beverage outlets. It will also include the new indoor Etihad Arena and 2 hotels, including the Hilton Yas Bay. Yas Creative Hub is nearly 3 million square feet and will have around 16,000 professionals working there. And just to put that into perspective, that's about the size of 10 football pitches. This megaproject is just another attraction said to transform the capital into a global media and entertainment powerhouse, featuring 5 towers with more than 600 businesses. Number 6. The Red Sea Project. Right between the coastal cities of Umluj and Al-Wad in Saudi Arabia is the site of an absurdly large $10 billion megaproject, the Red Sea Project. And this is a big one. Initially announced in 2017, the Red Sea Project is set for completion by 2030. It's another tourist grab. It will be a luxury mixed-use resort spanning an archipelago of islands in, you guessed it, the Red Sea. And it looks stunning, to say the least. The entire region will span nearly 12,000 square miles, which is also home to a dormant volcano. And seeing as how the desert tends to be warm all the time, the luxury archipelago will be available for visitors year-round and expected to bring in almost $6 billion a year. Yeah, that's billion with a B. But just because it's all on the water doesn't mean you need to wait for a boat to take you out there, because the Red Sea Project will include its own airport too. As it stands, the location incorporates a coastline untouched by modern man, which is home to all sorts of archaeological sites important to Saudi Arabian history and culture, which visitors will be able to appreciate from a respectful distance. And just because the Red Sea Project's hotels will hold a total of 8,000 rooms, it doesn't mean the area needs to suffer from human activity. The developers here are working hard to make the resort sustainable with a zero waste to landfill policy, 100% carbon neutrality, and a ban on single-use plastics. Hopefully, unlike the volcano, the Red Sea Project will erupt with a nice cash flow. Number 5. Jabal Omar. Jabal Omar is one of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's largest construction projects, covering an area of 40 hectares and costing $4.5 billion. It's a mix of towering hotels and residential buildings, and once complete, the Jabal Omar development will have the capacity to host up to 36,000 people annually. increasing to in excess of 100,000 during the Hajj season. This 8-phase project will see the construction of a twin-tower hotel, dedicated prayer areas, a 7-star facility, and multiple further hotel towers. Earlier this month, Southeast Asian company Archipelago International signed a deal with Jabal Omar to bring 2 hotels to the country. The adjacent hotels, located in Phase 4 of the Jabal Omar project, are currently under construction in a prime location overlooking the Holy Mosque. In total, there will be 40 towers across the built-up area of approximately 21.5 million square feet. Dubai-based financier Shua Capital provided developer JODC with a 5-year contract worth $135 million in January of 2019. Number 4. Amaala. Another awesome-looking mega-project coming from Saudi Arabia is Amaala. Also along the coast of the Red Sea, Amaala is another soon-to-be tourist destination. This development will encompass 1,800 hotel rooms and another 900 private villas on the water. Combine those accommodations with another 200 shops and restaurants, and you're looking at an entire city dedicated to high-end travelers. But Amaala hopes to be more than just a consumerist cash grab. Amaala will also have an Academy of the Arts to nurture not only future artists and innovators of Saudi Arabia, but the Middle East at large. There will be a lot to enjoy at Amaala, and anytime a country invests in its youth, they're headed on the right path. The new luxury site is gonna be huge, spanning more than 1,100 square miles, and something that ambitious is gonna cost a pretty penny, with the first phase of Amaala alone costing about $3 billion, with that money coming from the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. Well, as long as the rest of the country can be raised on time, Amaala is set for a 2028 opening, creating about 22,000 jobs in the process. Number 3. Abraj Kudai. While it's still under construction, the Abraj Kudai in Saudi Arabia is set to be the largest hotel in the world. More of a complex than a singular hotel, the Abraj Kudai is set to be a ring of 12 towers covering almost 11 million square feet, all 45 stories high and with a total of 10,000 bedrooms. Yeah, at this point, the hotel could probably be its own city, but that's not all. The plans for the most extravagant hotel the world has ever seen also include 70 restaurants and even 4 rooftop helipads. And then there are the 5 floors that will be built exclusively for private use of the Saudi royal family. And while the odds of the hotel guests rubbing shoulders with royalty are slim to none, just knowing you're in the same building should make you feel like you're a king or queen for a day. 10 out of the 12 towers will provide 4-star accommodations, but if you've got the cash, the other 2 towers will provide guests with 5-star accommodations and amenities. And while all this sounds amazing, the project's run into a few speed bumps, mainly financial, as the estimated costs are close to $4 billion. But seeing as how the location is revered by many as one of the holiest places in the world, when the Abraj Kudai is finally finished, it could potentially see millions of guests a year. Number 2. Lusail City. Qatar is a pretty small country, just 100 miles from north to south and 50 miles from east to west. Just to put that in perspective, it's about the same size as the U.S. state of Connecticut. But despite its small stature, it still manages to be one of the wealthiest nations in the world because of its high gas exportation. So when you've got all that money to spend, why not undergo a few mega projects? And while this one is still in the making, I'm really hoping that the Lusail City mega project will deliver, because if everything goes according to plan, it will be the first green city in the country, potentially changing Qatar forever. Lusail City is set to accommodate 450,000 people, with almost half of them being full-time residents, and 170,000 part-timers here across the 19 districts spread across a 15-square-mile area, including 4 man-made islands and a blue lagoon, complete with 2 marinas. There will even be a massive luxury stadium costing $45 billion alone. Lusail City will also be equipped with the latest and greatest technology to make this a smart city too, in order to ensure both safety and maximum operational efficiency. Number 1. King Salman Park. Imagine being such a big deal that you have an entire park named after you before you've even died. Well, that's exactly the case with King Salman Park in Saudi Arabia. This park is already running a bill of $20 billion in government funding, and it's still looking for another 15 in private investments. So, needless to say, this is one ambitious mega project. It's 4 times the size of New York's Central Park, stretching out over 5 square miles of space and sitting on the site of an old airport. The park will have its own stop on the metro and offer plenty of Islamic-themed architecture and gardens, including a butterfly conservatory, circular walkway, a 5-square-mile valley, and everyone's favorite, a labyrinth. But aside from some gorgeous nature, King Salman Park will have also both an indoor and outdoor theater as part of the arts section, and even 7 separate museums. But if for some reason arts and culture aren't really your thing, then there are still the luxury sports facilities that house space for not just things like golf, but even a 160,000 square yard water sports area. When King Salman Park is finally complete, hopefully by 2030, it's going to be crazy. I'll see you tomorrow. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.